for being here, Fanny Pierre.
Yes, hello everybody. Hi, Skyjack Morgan.
Hello, I'm glad you're alive. Haven't talked to you in a whole week. Hopefully, you've done audacious things in your vegan life. Done
We
some,
did.
uh,
We did text. We
yeah.
did text a few days ago. No, we didn't?
You
I
did
thought we did.
text. Yeah, I remember the texting.
That could have been someone else texting for me. I could have been dead and just was just faking it.
Well, what have you been getting up to in this wild, audacious life of yours?
Well, as you know, and as a lot of people may know, this week I had a job interview for a job in
Yes,
the animal rights movement, and I haven't heard from it, so we'll see.
yes. How'd that go?
Uh, but I think it went pretty well. Well, it's hard to know what people are expecting when they give you tasks. And some of the things I was surprised because they were asking me to use programs that I don't have that I would need for the job that they would give me for the job. But then they were like, "Can you use them now?" And I'm like, "I don't really have these programs." So a few things were like not easy to do with what they were asking me to do. There were a bunch of challenges. Like I had to watch a bunch of images of animals being mistreated, and that was really hard for me because, as you know, that's something I usually avoid.
Yeah.
So it was tricky for me, but at the same time, I did it, and it went okay. But I felt so that's something I usually do. I'm not afraid to tell people how I feel about things. So when the day was over and my whole work
Mhm.
day was over with them, I was like, "Hey, listen, I don't think that I showed really my strengths in this way that you interviewed me. And I wish that there was one more thing I could show you that I want to show you. So can you give me tomorrow morning to finish the thing?" And they were like, "Okay."
Mhm.
And so they give me that time, and so I did the thing the next day, and hopefully they'll see who I am and they'll see my strengths and how I can shine.
Yeah. I think it's gonna end well. I see very bright future for your fledgling animal rights activism, and I think it's gonna be awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited. It's like it's one thing, and I think everything we do always makes us feel better about the next thing. So even if this thing doesn't come up for me, I can try other something else and feel more comfortable doing it. So what did you do this week that was audacious, because this is the word that you used. I like this word.
Mm. Well, I drove a chicken truck around much of the South at this point. It's been really fun because I've had really what's cool about this tour is that I get to have co-stars at every stop. So I've met really cool people that work with the organization, and they'll hop on my truck and help me take pictures, and it's just great to have co-pilots, sidekicks on the adventure, and it's been really great meeting them, and it's also, quality time with some cool people is always welcome. Meeting new PETA peeps,
That's
and
cool.
I've been really enjoying their company.
You're gonna have so many new people to
Yeah.
interview on your channel. I can't wait to meet them.
Yeah.
It's like
I should actually bring them all on, talk about how they went vegan on the channel and everything. That'd be, I probably will. Now that I'm collecting, phone numbers and emails and everything. But honestly, it's been great, and I. It's also good to have someone else who can like take some of the heat from like because I'll be standing in front of the truck or something. Someone might say something to me, but then someone else could be with the press, and someone else could be with the taking pictures, and that's great because sometimes like the couple stops that I've done by myself, you start feeling like an octopus, like you're jumping out of the truck, you're taking a picture, you're trying to talk to people, you're trying to do this, seeing if you're doing it right, you're trying to move a little bit quickly at some parts, and sometimes you're trying to stick around. So it's just been it's been great having a couple people with me. This last leg, I just drove through literally just now. I just drove through the worst storm I've seen all year. I drove from Georgia to Florida. I'm in Jacksonville right now, and the road was just one of the worst storms I've driven in my life. It's just like very little visibility, just tons of rain. It was getting that little getting quite close to.
That's scary.
It was a lot of people were scared. They were pulled over and things like that, but not us. Not us.
Not
We
you.
forged on. No. Well,
True.
I had miles to go. Yeah, I had the chicken truck. I turned on the cluckers. I turned them on. They gave me power, and it's for the it's for the aminals. So
Mm.
we're keep driving. Plus, I knew we had to do the show and we had to be on time. So I forged on until we arrived, and it was great.
Thank you, and we were almost on time. I guess my internet connection was just it's weird because I did a 2-hour Zoom this morning and it was working
I
fine,
was
and
thinking
we start here and it's like, "What's happening?"
it could also be your camera settings. Like it could be that you have a high
Ah.
rate. So sometimes that'll slow things down. Like mine right now is at 720 high definition 720. Yours could be set at 1080 or whatever. Just be set at the higher one.
And then it just makes it so I see people
Like
in the comments talking about not having jobs as vegans. It's hard to find jobs as
mhm,
vegans because most of the jobs are not vegan, right? And everybody is like, I'm unemployed, I'm
right?
losing my job, it's hard. It's hard. Like I had this conversation with my brother recently, and he was like, you're choosing, because my brother is someone who helps people make money, basically. And
Mhm.
he was like, you're kind of choosing all the hardest things to do. Like you're trying to be an artist. And on top of being an artist, which is already hard, you choose to be an artist that is vegan and will only do vegan stuff. It's like it feels like you're restricting, and it's kind of sad because the world is not vegan, so we're very restricted in the jobs that we can do
Yeah.
that align with our values. So
Well,
if people,
also, I would say that like everyone always says, let me stop me if you've heard this one before. Everyone always says that um, do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. You ever hear that shit? And yet the second you tell someone like, "Okay, I'm gonna do what I love," people are like, "Well, that's a hard thing to do. You might not want to try that. Oh, don't know. You're never gonna make any money doing that one. You two are trying the hard things in life."
it's funny because for me, every time I do something I love, I work twice as hard.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the contrary. Like it is work because you care so much. When you
Yeah.
love something, you care so much, so you want to do it, and you want to do it fully. And so of course it's hard when you love something. It's like when I was at school, I was always kind of a good student,
Mhm.
but if there was a class that I didn't care about, I didn't care about failing in that class. I was like, I don't know, F math, Like I don't care
Mhm.
about math, so I'm just gonna not study. I don't care. But if I did care about something and then I had terrible results, I was like, oh no, I really tried. You know what I mean? So it's hard because when you
Mhm.
really care about the job you do, it's gonna have an impact on your mental, like how you feel about yourself, because you want to succeed, you want that thing to succeed, you care so much, so you work even harder. I mean, that's my experience, but I don't know.
Well, I agree. I mean, I was in the restaurant. I own a restaurant, so I know exactly how that feels. You feel like you're putting everything into it, and no one's saying thank you or that they like anything. So I completely understand what you mean. But it's one of those um, the curse of being your own boss, right? And even if you're not your own boss, you're just involved in something that you really love. You have to you have to work so hard at it that you turn it into a job.
Yeah,
But
exactly. And like someone here is saying Meppel 14. I'm sorry, I don't really know how to pronounce your nickname, but seems like if you want a vegan job, you have to create one for yourself, take years of hard work. I agree. I agree. I think that's what most vegans try to do. First of all, they want to change the world. So they create jobs where their whole purpose is to change the world and make it a vegan place, which is already hard. But on top
mhm.
of that, it's not a job that people want to pay for. Like, who's going to pay you to do that? So it's like,
Well, it turns out there is an organization.
there are some organizations. Yeah, there is one here
Mhm.
represented by you. But
Yes.
yeah, it's not easy. Yeah, and some people say it's hard to work. and vegan jobs. Yeah, of course it's hard. Like when you have, I saw someone who is now on my channel on YouTube. Someone is
Mhm.
delivering food for, you know, Uber Eats or stuff like that, and I'm like, that
Mhm.
must be tough
Mhm.
because most of the food you're delivering is not vegan. And like I worked at a
Yep.
bakery a few years ago, and I felt terrible serving people milk all day, having to prepare beverages with milk. I was like, that's so gross. Like, ugh, no, thank you.
Yeah, and it starts
Yeah.
to look like it's impossible to get out of that dystopia of that the system of oppression that we've found ourselves. And it's just the fact that it's harder for vegans shouldn't be a surprise to anybody, but that's exactly why we need companies like VKind and or, communities so that people can help each other out and find jobs for each other, and help find something.
Yeah.
Maple
Yeah.
14 says, I've heard on an animal activist mentorship podcast that the majority of funding goes to the big vegan organizations and very little goes to grassroots individuals. Could be true, but the grassroots organizations are often funded by the large
Yeah.
organizations. So, I mean, how organizations work is a little, insider baseball, but at the end of the day, there are vegan companies coming up. There are ones that are more, in line with your sense of justice, your sense of right and wrong. So I think that it's becoming easier. But you end up taking a pay cut, you end up doing things harder the hard way. But the truth is, if you wanted to do something, if you take veganism out of it and you want to, I don't know, draw cartoons, it's hard. You're going to take a pay cut. You're going to try to figure out how to make something of this. You're going to try to find happiness where you can. And it's going to be very hard work. It's just, if you wanted to be a musician, it'd be the same thing. So doing something that you believe in is always the harder way. You think
Mm-hmm.
Robert Frost had it easy writing poetry? I think, like he's famous now, or, not all of them get like that. Most of them don't. So
And
they die.
it's even harder because usually you become good at it and you make it look easy.
Yeah. And then
Like
everyone thinks like,
then everyone's like, That's so easy. They have it
oh,
easy." And I'm
lucky.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, when someone is telling me, "Oh, but look that person, like they're so successful. It's easy for them." I'm like, "They make it look easy." Which
Mhm.
probably means they had to work so much to make it look easy. Like that's always for me
Mhm.
interesting.
Totally. When I was at my best, when I was really working on poetry, I could pay 2 months a year with rent. I could pay 2 months of rent a year, with my poetic endeavors, and that was, like, super successful. That was real deal. So, yeah, you can go the choice was to go into to teaching, to go down this academic path, which I couldn't stomach because I feel like that's where poetry goes to die, or figure out something else, right? And so turning veganese says that he worked at fast food places, felt sick the whole time, wanted to cry and puke during his shifts, also having to deal with carny idiots who yell at you over barbecue sauce. That was my life. Not fast food, but fine dining and hospitality. Yeah, people yelling at people for extra ketchup or
Mm-hmm.
pickles.
But even in as an actress, because we always think, oh, like fast food places or
Hmm.
dining places are logically non-vegan. But even as an actress, it's really hard because a lot of jobs are to promote these places, so to do commercials as an actor and act, or you play in films where your character is not vegan or the whole plot of the
Hmm.
movie is not vegan, and it's really hard. I mean, that's why I was like, okay, now I'm gonna do a vegan channel, so people
Yes.
who make vegan movies, so companies who make vegan food will see me as their ally, because as an actress, when I'm just as an actress and I don't say I'm vegan at all, why would they hire me? They have no, like, yeah, and I don't want to be hired by the people who promote other stuff that are not vegan. So yeah, I want the companies to see me and hire me to promote their project, their products and all that.
Exactly. That's the future. Um, Alpha Sophist says, at least you guys have a talent. I have no talent as a vegan. Of course you have a talent. It's simply
Of
one that you
course.
must discover on your own. But of course you have talent. Don't give me that. Everybody has talent, and I'm not a religious person, but I love the idea that your talent is God's gift and that He wants you to share it with everyone. I've always liked that type of that idea that, because some things seem innate, they seem god-given, don't they? Not that I'm want to talk about God, because everyone knows how I feel about that, but like it seems so self-evident without any without anything else, um that God gave you a gift and you need to share it with everyone, because
Yeah.
that's why He gave it to you.
I don't know if
Karina
I'm
V, of
like
course, is an amazing artist and a great.
and
Huh?
great person. I've seen her talent. She's awesome. One thing, so for me,
She's a great artist, a
I
great
don't,
person,
of
all
course,
around.
I don't know if I
Great
like
ass kicker.
believe that God gave me a talent, but here's one thing that I believe. And please bear with me. It's going to take 1 minute for me to explain. For me, every person
Yes.
that is on this planet is a miracle, because just for life to appear on earth is a miracle. Like it's or an anomaly, you see it the way you want, right? But there are so many planets around us, there's so
It's a
many
long shot.
things. It's like for life, because
It's highly
some
unlikely.
it's
Yeah.
very unlikely. And other planets had life come up and then they became too hot and then all life died. So for us to have life on the planet, that life became so developed that humans with brains like us happen on the planet is also an
Mhm.
anomaly. Just life happening is an anomaly. Brains in humans and such developed people is an anomaly. And then me being alive because all my ancestors met and my parents had sex at that moment for me to be there. You know what I mean? Like, I'm an anomaly. I'm
Yes.
a miracle. I'm something that was not supposed to happen in the logic of the universe, right? So I don't know if we have gifts or whatever, but being here is so special. It is so special. It was a chance in billions of billions that we would be here happening, right? So for me, even if every day is not like perfect and all, I really cherish that I'm able to even just experience this world,
Yeah.
because it's was very likely that I was not gonna happen and be here and all.
Mhm.
So
You might
that's
as well
for
make it.
me. Yeah. So I'm trying to like be like, okay, even what's shitty, it's like it's part of the experience, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that here's the opposite side. A miracle of existence full of suffering. I'm an alphalist. If I had a choice, I'd make the whole life experience hell to create life. Oh, alpha sophist. Aren't you the ray of hope and sunshine that we need on a Sunday afternoon? Um,
Yes. Yes.
yes,
Yes.
I mean, the way I see it, I always it's funny because we were talking about the last couple of days on the road. There's some of us who like to wake up super early and some who like to sleep in super late. And I'm just like, man, I just like being awake. I don't care what time of day it is. I like to be out here experiencing life and seeing
Yeah.
things and creating and doing stuff. I just like to be active. And by active, I don't mean like lifting weights or whatever. I just mean like being in motion. I'd rather be ashes than dust,
Hmm.
is what
And
Jack
I
London
feel
said.
like, I mean, maybe it's me, and this is actually a conversation I had with Jess this week. And to bring it back to veganism, this week we were talking with Jess, and I was saying like the harm that people are doing to animals, they're not doing it directly to me, and Jess was
Mm,
sort of disagreeing. So we had different opinions on that topic, but to me, I'm like, I have decided a while ago that I would not want to let other people have power over me. And so oftentimes when I feel bad, it's because I will compare myself to others, or I will let someone's words affect me or actions. But I can decide, you know what? I don't want this. I don't
mhm,
want to be affected. I don't want I want to do things differently. And it takes a lot of energy, and it takes people like you around you to support you, because most people don't believe that and all. But to me, it's possible, and I know that maybe I'm just too privileged and I don't see it and all, but I feel like it's a choice to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
For example, when I came to America, I had no friends. I didn't know anybody, couldn't speak the language. It was so hard for me. I was sad every day that I didn't see my family. I felt it was unfair that my career was going nowhere when I was starting to have a career in France. And then I come here and nobody cares about me. Like the amount of unfairness and everything that, and I felt bad all the time. And then one day I was like, I'm done feeling bad and sorry for myself. I'm done. This is not helping me. This is not helping others or my
Yeah.
relationship. And I'm going to choose to be like, okay, this is the life I have. What am I going to do with this? I'm not with my family, and that's it. I'm just not. And I have to deal with it. It was
Mm-hmm.
hard. It was really hard still today. But I feel so much better dealing with what's in front of me than resenting what's in front of me.
Well, this is something that speaks to my meditation practice. I really feel like meditation brings you to that, like what's in front of you, what is here, what is now, not what could be, not what was, not what will be. It's what's now that's important, and what are you doing within that. Happiness is a means of travel, not a destination. That you're not hoping to one day become happy. You need to choose happiness every day wherever you're going, because the
Mhm.
path is not always chosen by you. It's almost never chosen by you.
Never.
I
It's
mean, a lot of what
never.
happens in our lives is inevitable. Since the Big Bang, we've been traveling this direction.
Yeah, it's
Hmm.
we can make choices
Fanny, come
because,
again.
yeah, you hear me?
Hey, Fanny, do me a favor. Hit the settings section. You see at the bottom of the screen, there's a little gear. It says settings.
Yes.
Click
My
it, and then tell
camera,
me what it says under camera.
it says 480.
Tell me what it says. So
It says
what does it
480.
say under camera resolution?
480. I can put in low
It says
definition.
480, really?
I'm at 360. 360 now. Can everybody see me? Or
I don't know
is
why
it
I
just
can't hear you.
Sky?
Oh, now I can hear you. Maybe it might be just me. It's weird. I don't know. I never have this. Oh, can everybody see me? Now you're writing in the comments. I like it. Okay. Oh, maybe it's because, do you have YouTube open right now?
I do.
Do you have YouTube running on your same computer?
I just removed
Shut down
it.
YouTube for me. See if that fixes it. Because this has happened
Ah,
before.
Deb says I can see and hear you both.
Just shut down YouTube for a second.
I did shut it down. I did.
Looks like Turning Veganese has become a YouTube member. Thank you, Turning Veganese. Thank you for
Ooh.
becoming a channel member. I really appreciate that. Awesome. Very cool.
So can you see me and
Seems
hear me?
okay, says Cole. Everyone can hear what you're saying but me, so we're going to have a really fun conversation.
I
I think
feel
it's
it.
because you have YouTube running at the same time as StreamYard, and I'm watching you through
I shut it.
StreamYard, and they're watching you through YouTube. That's what I think is happening, but I could be wrong. All right, so it could be just me. My internet seems to be working fine, so let's just keep going. I wanted to tell you a story about something that I thought was kind of funny that happened. Are you ready for it?
Yes, if you can hear him saying yes. Yes, I
You're ready
am.
for it? Okay, so here's what here's what happened. We pulled into Albany, Georgia. And Albany, Georgia is a smaller town. It's on the small side of American life. And we get in there and we're staying. I didn't know until we arrived at a Red Roof Inn. Now, anyone who's been following my journey knows that the last Red Roof Inn we stayed at was kind of a shit show. We were outside of, I think, Penn State, or I can't remember where we were, but we weren't in a good one. Not all red roofs are created equal, but we ended up in a red roof inn, and it was actually quite nice. It was a nice red roof inn. I got into the hotel room and I went, okay, not so bad at all, not bad. So I get in my hotel room, I go to sleep, and I wake up at 3 a.m. and I hear chickens. all I can hear is chickens, and I'm like, am I going crazy from hearing this chicken truck, and it's in my dreams? And I'm like, I'm dreaming about roosters, and I keep on hearing roosters, and I'm like, that's not the sound of these damn of the chicken truck. And so I fall asleep again.
You're
It's just
dreaming
like 3, 4,
of
now
your
4
chicken
o'clock in the
truck.
morning. I wake up, it's roosters, and I'm like, and when I wake up, the roosters, I can kind of hear them. But you know how when you wake up, your dreams might start going, like they kind of fade out sometimes.
They're
So
mixing with
I hear these
reality.
roosters. Yeah, it's like mixing with reality. Right. Okay. So finally, I fall asleep. I wake up a few hours later. What happens is I stay up. I wake up and I stay up because these roosters, and I don't hear them anymore. So I read a book a little bit. I'm reading Eisel Mazer's book. It's pretty damn good. I'm on the last 20 pages of it right now. Okay. So then I get up, we have to check out. I get my cohort. We're getting going. I'm still limping because my foot was hurting. Get out, and we're mapping out our day on the phone to see like what stops we have to make. And all of a sudden something runs by, and I'm like, that was the weirdest looking cat. That I don't think that was a cat. What was that animal? And then another one runs by. I'm like, what are these? It's a large animal,
You were
but
still
it's
dreaming.
then roosters start running towards the truck, start running towards the
Oh,
truck. Wild roosters and they're beautiful. They're like the ones with the big blue plumage and the red bodies, and they're running towards the chicken truck. I
because
don't
they
think that
wanted to see their friends.
they want to see their friends. Maybe that was it. They just want to come and say hello. They were just getting their morning started. They were running around this parking lot at the end at the Red Roof Inn. And I went, I wasn't dreaming after all. These were the roosters, but there were many of them, and they were like hiding in the bushes. They were just an
Wild.
infestation, one might call them, of roosters. Yes, but
That's cute.
we're in like a city. I mean,
That's
it's not
cute.
LA, but it's like a little tiny city. We're not in the It's not as rural as you wouldn't think that you would come and see a bunch of wild damn roosters running around.
Did you take photos and videos?
We took some photos, but like it's hard to catch a rooster. They're running. Like they're not coming up for us to say hello.
They're the
Like
lucky ones. They're still running. They're
they
the
were
lucky
out there
ones.
looking for food in the morning or something. They were very, very much like
It's cute.
they were cute. They were in fact cute, yes. But they were beautiful birds. I think that someone must have, maybe there was like some other, I don't know why they were all out. I've seen people near, like I've been in Las Vegas, I've been in parts of it that are rural, and there's like roosters out. There's just people with roosters in the street and shit. But this wasn't that. There were many of them, and they were like running around like cats, like you would
That's
see
really
cats.
cool. I mean, when I was in Bali, you had dogs like that all over the place. And it was really cool to just have dogs, being just like birds, just going around.
Yeah, I think yeah, I mean, dogs. I mean, when I'm in Mexico, I see packs of dogs. I mean, dogs are a
Hmm.
dime a dozen. Roosters, Fanny. These are roosters. Plus, I thought I was dreaming. And you're right. Were they? She asked if they were that some hens crow too. I'm pretty sure I was hearing just the whole flock behind my hotel room having a party in the morning, and then going out looking for food once the sun came up. But they were.
My mom used to have a bunch of chickens when she was younger, and they seem to perch on trees. Like at night, they will just go in the trees to sleep to, I guess, escape whatever might run on the ground and try to
Mm,
chase them and all. And so maybe they were in the trees and you didn't see them when you came at night. And then in the morning, they were just going down and like, but they're birds after all. Like it's because we cut chickens' wings when they are
yeah.
in the farms, but otherwise they're just birds and they can fly, right?
Well, they kind of fly, right? Yeah, they can like wild chickens can sort of fly. They can't fly like they can fly like peacocks, They can fly sorta. Yeah.
Jump and
Yeah.
fly. But
It's like
yeah.
turkeys, they fly really fast, but they don't fly very far. But,
The early bird gets to meet sky.
the
I
early
love
bird
it.
gets to meet sky, exactly. They roost on branches for safety. Yeah, I think of them a lot
Yeah.
like peacocks because they're pretty large birds as far as birds go, and
Mhm.
they you know how peacocks, if you go to a place that has a lot of peacocks, they'll be, like, in the ground, behind bushes, a couple be in the trees, but they don't,
Mhm.
like, they don't really live in the trees. They might nest in the trees, I don't know that much about the life cycle
I
of
think
peacocks.
they do. I think they can. Yeah.
But I've also seen, like, egret nests over on this journey, and they're massive nests, stork nests and all that type of stuff. It's really, funny. A rowdy rooster raid. Yeah, they were come out for support. I was just happy that I wasn't crazy because all night I really was thinking that I was just dreaming and that the sound of the chicken truck was getting into my brain at night. Luckily, that wasn't the case. So
That wasn't the case. Maybe that was both. We don't
No,
know.
I'm positive
It
I heard
was
chickens at 3 o'clock in the morning. Later on, at around 10 o'clock in the morning, I see chickens running
Uh,
around. I'm pretty sure it was the
maybe
same.
they were having some fun at night. You never know at
But
3 a.m. You
I
never
don't know.
know.
Again, I don't know what time chickens like to get busy, but they were definitely having conversation. I mean, they're
Uh,
gregarious birds, aren't they? They're
the
always chit chatting. Those
the the thought of having these birds having such a good time makes me
Yeah, right
happy for
outside
them.
my hotel room. Yeah, I was very happy for them because I haven't seen any birds have good times since I've been on this journey.
Oh
Yeah,
my
it's always
gosh.
talking about dead birds. I've seen a lot of dead birds since I've been here.
Yeah, kind of
Yeah.
sad.
And then in Albany, I'm sorry, in Macon or where the hell we were. I think in Macon we had some press.
Some press. Did you
The
put
chicken truck
a
was on the
nice?
news in Macon, Georgia. That was really cool.
Ooh, that's cool.
Hmm?
Did they interview you? Did they interview you? You
They
can't
did
hear
not
me anymore.
interview me this time,
Ah,
no.
okay.
But I was but still, I mean, it's still my chicken truck, and, it
Yeah.
was on the news, and it's if you want to see the clip, it's funny because the news what sucks about it is, like, who pays the news who buys ads from local news? Ch Chick-fil-A,
Ooh.
you know what I mean? They know which side the bread is buttered on. It's such a c You don't have to have a conspiracy if you're if you're friggin' if Chick-fil-A is buying ad space from local news, NBC7 or whatever it is, are they gonna report negatively about Chick-fil-A?
Probably
I don't think so.
not. Probably not. No, it's true. It's true. That's why a certain
Yeah.
company my husband's pursuing is not
So they said
stopping their partnership with Feathers, because if they did, they would have to stop all their partnerships they do with places that abuse animals. So they're not going to do that. It's just the way it is. There's a clear delay between what I'm saying and what Sky's hearing of me. Get read because there's no way they can read it. So. Yeah, I don't know. Sky, can you still hear me? I don't know if Sky can still hear me.
you sound like a robot to me right now, but you're smiling.
Ah, it seems like the connection's good between us and everybody, but between us it's not working. It's weird. Sky may need to check the resolution under his camera. Maybe it's maybe it's Sky's. I love it.
I just lowered it to 360. How's that?
It's for me it works well, but can you hear me still or no? It doesn't work fine. No, and you don't seem to hear me. Oh,
I can
everybody.
hear, like, bits and parts of your audio. But,
Okay.
Fanny,
I'm sorry.
but
I
it's
don't know
funny
what to
because
do.
Deb Thompson says that we're coming in clear for everybody, so
I think we
there you
are.
go.
Yeah, I think we are. Okay. So let me tell you one story. If you can hear me a little bit, can you hear me a little bit? If I tell one story,
I can hear a little bit. Tell me a story.
okay. So this week on Tuesday, we went to a rodeo protest, and I filmed a video. I posted the
Yeah.
video, and then I got so many hate comments and trolls and people being really calling me trash and all sorts of things on TikTok. And so first thing I did, I had never
Mm-hmm.
done that. I didn't know how to do it, was I removed all the comments. And then the second thing I did was I started blocking people who would then come to my other videos to like put more mean comments. And then the third thing I did, I ended up doing last night, was to remove the video and make it so only me can see it. And it's hard because we're trying to do something. We are putting our activism out there, and like mostly on social media, I'm not
Yeah.
asking like when you drive the truck, you are bringing your truck in front of places where people are upset to see it, right? When I put on social media, people can choose whatever they watch on social media, and then they decide to come watch me and then to hate on me, and they're pretty violent. And it's interesting to me how their violent behaviors towards animals are also translated into violent behaviors
Yeah.
towards us. And when I say I'm a nonviolent a person, I'm not gonna insult you. I'm not gonna say you're dumb for believing whatever you. I'm not gonna do that. I'm nonviolent. I'm not gonna do that. It's interesting to see that they
Mm-hmm.
go there, and I wonder, like, I do believe that when you're a non-violent person because you're vegan, it translates in many other places in your life. For me, it's weird to be, for example, vegan and not caring about humans. And it's weird to be vegan and be violent to yourself, being mean to yourself. That's something that I have to deal with. Sometimes I'll be mean to myself, like regarding to my looks, my weight, my whatever. And then I'll be like, hold on, you're vegan. You're choosing to have a non-violent life. You can't be violent with yourself either. That includes
Yeah.
yourself, right? So what do you think about that? If you heard what I
Mm-hmm.
said.
Well, I don't know why you would remove the videos though. Like, I don't understand that step of the story. Why would you remove the videos if just
Be-
because some trolls left you
be-
nasty comments?
because now all of my next videos, people come from that video to then troll me. And I, as much as I'm
Just ban
okay,
them.
I mean, I do, but at some point I was like, I'm just gonna, like, maybe I will post the video again, but if the video is preventing other people to maybe see this video because the only people that are attracted to are trolls, that the purpose
Mm-hmm.
of my video is not served, right? Because
Yeah.
my goal is to reach people who are on the verge or maybe questioning or whatever. But if people have one issue in head and then they come and troll all my videos because of that one issue, I'm deserving, you know. Yeah, I think so. I think
Yeah.
so.
I mean, well, I mean, I don't know. It's weird that so I just ban, I just ban anyone who's going to be really jerk. And I do on TikTok, for example, where it's particularly toxic. I've just turned off comments because I'm just like, I guess we're not going to do that, you know?
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, every platform works differently. So on TikTok, you cannot hide. It's like you can block people, they cannot find you anymore. But I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
I had in less than 24 hours over 200 comments that were only mean, and I
Yeah.
didn't know how to ban 200 people from viewing my channel. You know what I mean? It's like I would have spent like 3 hours, so I just turned the comments off so people don't see it. Because I think that violence attracts violence. So if I
You
leave
could
the
just block.
comment,
You could just, yeah, delete the comment.
Yeah, but 200 comments. I was even today I would still be doing this. Blocking, blocking, blocking because
Which
people keep
platform did you
coming.
get all this on? Like 200 nasty comments like that?
It's
Which platform was it?
TikTok. It's TikTok.
TikTok. It's always TikTok. So just turn off comments on TikTok.
That's what I did. But then they would come to my other videos and
Oh,
still
I turned it off on
comment.
all my I turned it off on all my entire channel. And so I turned off comments for my entire channel because that's what they'll do. They'll go to the whatever one you don't have. And so I put no comments on any of my content on TikTok because that's the only one that's like that. Like
Mm,
and you know what? My channel is still growing. I'm still like last time I checked, I think I'm at like 2,600.
yeah.
So I
I
mean,
mean,
like
for me, I have hate comments on Instagram and on YouTube too.
a little
It
bit, not 200 at a time.
Not 200, but a bunch. A bunch. Like my videos are have easily my shorts, they have easily 2200, 3000 views. And so I have a bunch of
Mhm.
people still commenting. So everywhere and now I'm getting hate. It's like, and it's funny because I feel like my videos are not like I'm not insulting anyone. Like the
No.
last video I did was, is this true or false? This is
Mhm.
false. The truth is this. And people get so pissed. They're like,
Yeah.
stop telling people what to do. And I'm like, I'm just stating a fact. I'm not telling anyone what to do. You do what you want based on the facts, but I'm not telling you to do anything. I'm just telling you a fact.
It's really funny because your stuff is far more, let's just call it nicer than what I do. And yet no one tells me to do shit. Like I get a lot of trolls, especially if I get one that gets over like 5,000 views or something on any platform. When you get something that goes to 5 or 10,000 views, you're going to get trolls. There's no way around it because that's what they do. The algorithm's showing it to a larger number and a larger number and a larger number of people. So it's going to get a percentage of trolls on each ring of that of the 7 rings of hell. So I mean, I so I just I since it's unmanageable, I just turn it off on. I only respond on um on YouTube.
YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah, I won't
So
respond on TikTok or Instagram usually.
trapped in the matrix says, I mean, seriously, don't use TikTok and stuff. Can you just not read the comments post? So here's what happened and why I decided to take the video down is because a lot of people after I shut the comments were saving my video. And that ban is happening here in Los Angeles. So a lot of people know that if I'm there is because I live in Los Angeles. And maybe I'm crazy, but I was like, are they saving the video so they know what I look like in case they meet me in person? I don't know.
No, they're
Because I'm like,
saving it to try to edit it and do something stupid with it or do that's what they do.
exactly. But I was like, oh, okay. Well, now all of these people know my face. And it's not like I was the face of the protest. You know what I mean? Like, I was not organizing that protest, like, nothing. I was just there and I made a video about it. And then people were like, really going for it. And I was like, wow, people threatening me really badly. And I was like, it's not like people in Iowa threatening me, it's
Mhm.
people who live in the same city as I do. So
Mhm.
I felt unsafe, to be honest.
Iowa. I've never heard someone pronounce Iowa like you just did, by
Iowa,
the way.
Iowa.
You went, it's not like they're in Iowa.
It's my French.
Yeah, I know. Is that how they say Iowa in French? They say,
We say Iowa.
Comment appelez-vous le Iowa?
I guess we say Iowa. Iowa. How do you say in English?
Iowa.
Iowa. Okay. Thank
That's
you
it.
for telling me.
Yes, it's 75% vowels, 100% awesome. Iowa.
Love it. I wish there was this. I wish there was, you can check
Not on TikTok.
before, but I wish there was that. That would be great.
They
So I
have
would.
that on some channel, on some platform. I think you could do that on YouTube, but it's kind of boring. It's like you want to have engagement, so it kind of sucks because like on TikTok, I it's like I wish that I didn't have to keep the comments off, but I'm just keeping them off because if you want to come at me, I only do one. I love it's Iowa from now on. Says turning vegan. Yeah, perfect.
You should see the number of things that my husband today he only says in French because I still to this day I'm like, I don't know how to say that in English, so we'll just use the French word and that's it. So
Well,
it's silly.
great.
Oh gosh. Hi Jess. And then Jess is like, yep, that's me.
He only uses the he'll only use the French word le pain,
Yeah. Mhm.
le chien.
For applesauce, we never say applesauce, we say compote
Compote. Yeah, well, you
because
said it in
it's
English
compote.
too.
Yeah.
Except in
Or
English, you know how we say that? We call it a compote.
there you go. But for mashed potatoes, because mashed potatoes is long. It's like, why this long? We say puree. Puree is in French.
Puree.
Puree. I prefer Fanny's friends.
It's basically the same language. You just have to say everything with a French accent.
Thank you. Thank
Iowa.
you. Iowa. It's like
That's perfect.
aloha. Sorry.
Aloha. Aloha. You're in Iowa. Great.
Ah.
It's a perfect.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so yeah, that was my one thing. And then it was I had also one comment that I wanted to share today that someone said to me. So
What was it?
it was on my video where I say, "Hey, someone a character is saying, "Well, cows are treated nicely. Farmers love them." And then I'm me as a vegan and I'm like, "Okay, do you want to watch images of how cows are
Oh
being
yeah, and you're
treated?"
like,
And then they're like, no, no, right?
hmm
And someone commented, quote, you can impregnate a cow, treat it well, and farm
hmm
the milk. And I only answered, how do you put something in the rectum of a cow and call that
hmm
treat her well? Like like because people use mechanical
hmm
impregnate, it sounds like fancy, it's like it sounds like IVF. It's not IVF.
Well, yeah, that's why they call it artificial insemination of a
Yes,
cow. It's like,
it's
if you don't want to be artificially inseminated, that's called rape. There's
exactly.
Yeah, it's so
It's a
ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was interesting because I was like, how can someone say that, write that, and think what I said means they were nice to the cow? I'm like, there's no way. Like, yeah, a lot of people write stuff, and I'm like
Yeah.
blinking.
Well, it's funny, but because then when you're out in the field, I know that you had a bad experience in LA this week, but I was in front of Maryland chickens, fried chicken something in someplace in Georgia, and somebody who worked there comes out and says, "Can I have one of those?" And I thought they told. I said, "Of course, here, have a." She wants a vegan starter kit. Yeah, here you go. Have a vegan starter kit. She goes, "Can I have two? Because my son's really thinking about. He really wants to go vegan. He's getting me to go vegan." I'm like, "Yeah, of course you can have two. Have as many as you want. You want to give them to all your friends who work here? No, no, two's okay." And she's like, "Thank you so much for being here." And we're there protesting, you know what I mean? And so even though we have these moments where it seems like these morons won't get it, at every single spot for every, there might be 10 people who call me and ask, call me names or like or boo or make some joke. Like someone drove by at Chick-fil-A, is like, the chicken tastes great, ha 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 ha, driving away. And I'm
Like
like, that's
nobody did that before them.
right. Or
They
even
were
like,
the first.
I literally, I don't even have anything to say except if that's what passes for comedy, bro, like you're really bottom of the
Bad.
barrel. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
The
work
chicken
on your
tastes great. It's like, are you aware that you are acting like
it's
an evil villain?
no, they're like a 10-year-old who
You're like a
did
10-year-old.
something bad and was running to hide,
And
you know? It's
then
like
they'll drive their truck. They're always in a pickup truck, and they'll drive their pickup truck as quickly away as possible because they're afraid
yeah,
of what I might do, I guess, or I might
yeah.
like crush their little tiny egos.
But
But
yeah,
for every, so I do have some of those, but so many people like who are in the parking lot of Chick-fil-A will be like, I love that you're doing this. I love every single Chick-fil-A we've done. It's been very much that way. Where yes, they're always busy, and most of the people who are there hate it, but a lot of them are there with a passenger seat, someone in the who's like, I'm so glad you're doing this. Fuck these guys, and this is horrible. They're homophobic. They're super. They're fake Christian religion. It's all BS. They're horrible company, and you are trying to take them down. Thank you. And I'm like, we're clearly not the only. You know what I mean?
No, no,
It's
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 true.
it's hard to remember them sometimes because there is a lot of what you're describing, but we have to try to concentrate on the ones that we are changing, the ones we are waking up.
Or
Or
the
else
people who are.
I'll end up like Isel Mazard and hate the whole movement.
No, for me, and it's interesting because after
Love you, Isel.
they came at me with so many mean comments on the first day. I really tried to put myself in their feet and in their shoes. And I was like, yeah, it will suck for a bunch of people to lose their jobs because rodeos are banned. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
people are going to lose their livelihood. Even when all the cows, like the farms, are going to stop with cows making milk or being sold for meat, so many people are going to lose their job. And it's the responsibility for me of the government, because the government right now is sponsoring. I looked at the numbers. The meat industry is indebted of $416 billion in
Mm-hmm.
America, just in America.
Yeah.
So people from the government are using my money, my taxpayer money, to invest in making meat, producing meat, farming with my money. And then this meat is still too expensive and they're selling it at the lowest price for people to be able to buy so much of it to make them
Mhm.
believe that it's the best for them and all,
Yeah.
so they can get sick, so they can sell them medication after that. It's terrible. It's like this industry is losing so much money,
Mm-hmm.
and yet so many people depend on it, their livelihood. And yeah, it's
I mean, there's something. Have
crazy.
you heard about this whole like McDonald's costs so much money? There's like it's a trend, and it's something that's really working its way into. It's kind of weaseling its way into politics. That McDonald's costs 16, 17, $18 to go have a meal there, and it's like, well, wait till you stop paying for it with your taxes. It actually costs way more than that because so much of your taxes are hidden. Um, because so much of your money is already in the cost of a McDonald's hamburger because so much of your taxes have already been prepaid for what's on your little plastic box or whatever they call
Mm-hmm.
it these days. So I mean, like, it's just going to get worse. And people are like, well, it's Biden's fault. No, man, it's just getting worse. Trends are changing, and we need to stop subsidizing these bullshit. And your McDonald's should be expensive. It should be the most expensive thing you ever eat because of what's in
Mm-hmm.
it and how sick it's going to make you. And I'm sick of paying for all these fat fucks. Not that if you want to be a fat, I'm not trying to fat shame for
No,
these
people
unhealthy
do whatever
assholes.
for their own health. I don't care what they
I
do.
don't want
Like,
to pay
it
for it. I
doesn't
don't want to
matter.
pay for them. We are paying for their death, and they're just keep shoveling it in. It should be taxed like cigarettes. I'm also
Yeah. And
yeah.
the problem is it's always affecting the how do you say that, the poorest populations, because these foods cost less than actually feeding yourself well. So it blows my mind when people are like, oh, you're only vegan because you love animals, you prefer animals to people. Why don't you care about people? I'm like, don't you see that I care about you, that
Mm-hmm.
it's killing you, this industry is killing you, and it's affecting the poor people first? Don't you see that McDonald's is cheaper and terrible for your health than going and buying actual food? Don't you
Yeah.
see that? It's crazy to me. And then they keep defending people doing that. And I'm like, they bought you. They
Well,
bought you and you don't even know it.
yeah, they bought you. That's exactly right. They brainwashed you. They indoctrinated you. It's kind of like today we were doing. It was pouring rain, and in the pouring rain at a place called, I want to say Cookout or something. There's a place called Cookout Diner because Chick-fil-A was closed today. Fast food, line of cars around the block into traffic, just a line of cars waiting. And every time I got a little ranty. I'm like, every time I see that, I'm going, these are your apex predators. These are your canine teeth waiting in a car in the rain, waiting for your disgusting little dead animal between a piece with two pieces of bread. That's that what an apex predator that people are, you know.
It's like people in this country and at many countries too are dying of diabetes. Diabetes has become almost one of the first diseases amongst children.
Yeah.
So before it was adults, but now it's attacking children. And you
Mhm.
see, for example, for me, it's very clear when I see Starbucks and people say Starbucks is in the business of coffee. Mm-mm-mm. Starbucks is in the business of sugar. Starbucks wouldn't make as much money if they were selling black coffee. Starbucks is working because they're selling a little vanilla sugar here, a little caramel sugar there. That's how they're making money
Yeah,
because
some of those drinks that they serve, I once saw an
it's more
infographic.
than Coca-Cola.
Or it's more than a cheeseburger. It's more than a Big Mac. It was compared to a Big Mac, like a one of those Starbucks Frappuccino type drinks,
Hmm.
and it has as much saturated fat and sugar and all these different cholesterol. And it was comparing it to a Big Mac, and people gobble them down every morning. And not
Hmm.
to mention the fact they're
Every
spending like
morning.
$8 for that shit, and they're paying $8 for that, but then complaining that a a, a meal at McDonald's costs 12 or 14 or 15 or whatever it
Hmm.
is. Well, then stop buying Starbucks. Like, what are you talking about? This issue cracks me up, and it's becoming everything that I read about politics right now. They're talking about this McDonald's thing, and it's interesting because there used to be a thing called the Big Mac Index where you could see like how a country's doing based on their price of a Big Mac. Like, go to France and what are they charging for a Big Mac? Go to Poland, what are they charging for a Big Mac?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
you can kind of get an idea of what their economies look like. And this smacks of that. People love that shit, you know? Who you stop eating there. Should be the lesson is don't eat at McDonald's.
Yeah.
Have you been able to vote in America yet? I know you're a
Yes.
citizen. Okay,
Yes, I
so
did already
have you
twice.
noticed have you noticed that both times that you voted in California, there's always something about dialysis on the ballot? Every single time we vote on the ballot initiatives, there's always a
I don't remember that, but also when we vote, there's like 70 different things
yeah.
we're voting on. And so I'm sorry, I don't remember that one.
Well, this where we have an election coming up. Pay attention. I guarantee you, and I don't know because there's not anything on my mind that is pressing about dialysis machines or dialysis clinics right now. But I can guarantee you that there will be something on the ballot initiative on the ballot about dialysis. And the reason why is because exactly what you're just describing, that children are having type 2 diabetes. Old people have diabetes is going to be the biggest killer of this generation. Um,
Mhm. It's always interesting to me because when I see Starbucks, I'm like, they're not in the business of coffee, they're in the business of sugar and diabetes. And for example, it's the same because I also look at eco-conscious alternatives and all. I'm vegan, but I'm also eco-conscious. And for example, for me, selling water, it's not the business of selling water, it's the business of selling plastic bottles. Because really, what do? You put water in plastic bottles and then you sell that water, the
mhm.
same kind of water that I can open my tap and have. It's like, it doesn't make any sense for me. Some things like people had an idea, oh, I'm going to make that and make it fancy. And I'm just like, there's nothing fancy about that. Like your coffee at Starbucks is no different than coffee you can make at home, except there's a ton of sugar and yeah,
Well, I mean,
and
I drink black
and plastic.
coffee. I
Yeah,
drink
black
black
coffee's good.
coffee. I never use a plastic cup. So, I mean,
No, you're great.
I'm a still a big fan of certain drinks, but I try not to, I always say Starbucks is my third choice because I'll always choose to go to a local coffee roaster. So we
Hmm.
found one called Red Owl in Georgia. It was great. And my second choice is Pete's if it exists in the area that I'm in, because Pete's is from Berkeley, California, and they're not as crazy as Starbucks. Again, I just get black coffee. And third choice has got to be Starbucks because it's the only one that exists sometimes. Sometimes you get off the interstate and it's the only one that's there.
Listen, I go to Starbucks sometimes. Everybody does.
Exposed.
We all yeah. I
J'accuse.
mean, I'm not I'm not I don't care. It's okay. I live with myself. Fine. But it's just like we have to call things for what they are. When I know I'm gonna buy a chai latte or a matcha latte or whatever latte from Starbucks, I know I'm eating sugar. What blew my mind when I came to this country is all the places that sugar is not supposed to be and that it is, and that
Mhm.
people, if they don't read the little descriptions on the bottle, they don't know sugar is not supposed to be there, like in bread, like in tomato
Mhm.
sauce, like in so many things. And I'm
Well, you
like,
need sugar for bread because that's what the yeast eats, right? You need some sugar in bread,
you
or
don't
else you get no.
no, you don't need sugar for bread, I promise you.
Yes, you do. What do you think the What do you think
I
the
make
yeast
my
eat?
own bread. I can go pick it up right
And you
now,
put
show you
no
my bread.
sugar. And you
There's
put
no
no
sugar
sugar in
in
it.
my bread. No, you don't need sugar. I promise you. You put yeast and you put vinegar, like apple cider vinegar, and maybe that's a little fermented with the natural sugar, but you don't need sugar in bread, I promise you.
When I make bread, I put sugar in it. But that's
That's okay.
well,
That's
no, I
okay.
mean because the sugar's
But
all
if you
gone.
know, my
The
whole
sugar's not
thing
in the
is
final product. It's in it. The yeast eats it and turns it into levity.
okay. We all have different recipes. My point is, if you know you're eating sugar, I eat sugar willingly. But I think a lot of people, and that's what I see sometimes when I post my videos, a lot of people think they know something because they heard, but they never really researched on online on Google or whatever, and then they think they're doing something that's healthy. The number of time, like I was someone who when I was a kid, I was on a diet when I was 7 years old. I was overweight when I was 7 years old. So food has always been, I've always been curious about food, how much this is. I did Weight Watchers, like I did so many things. And when people say, "Oh no, that's healthy. You can eat as much as you want." I'm always like, everything is healthy, everything is unhealthy. Like it's not a thing. If
Mm.
you drink too much water, you're going to die. It's nothing is good when it's too much, you know? So it's like sugar is not a bad thing. We need sugar to
No, but
live
they're sneaking
as
into everything. It's a lot like milk. So to bring this back to like what like milk is in everything. You have to check and everything. A granola bar that should have no milk in it. You look at the box, milk, and of course, since I'm traveling a lot now and I'm trying to like eat more from supermarkets because I don't want to eat just junk food all the time. I end
Mhm.
up like going to Walmart and I don't know these products because that's just not how I usually have to that's not how I usually eat. And then I look at the box, it always has something that's I put so many things away, put so many things back on the shelf because there's milk or eggs that they've snuck in unnecessarily to
For no
to
reason. But
keep
it's
to keep the dairy farmers of America
I feel
in the
like, you know,
corner.
as much as you have like vegan or whatever, I think there should be on labels, there should be bigger, like it's crazy to me that we can barely read what's written on the package of things. It should be so much bigger for people to
Well,
understand.
milk and eggs have to be in the allergen information.
Yeah,
So
now they
that's
do.
good.
It's true.
But honey and gelatin are the ones that they like to sneak in and certain dyes and the glazes and stuff. Hey, we have to wrap up, but how about next week? What do you got going on until next week?
Not much auditions. I'm going to make more videos. I
Nice.
actually, one fun thing that happened this week because of my YouTube channel, a vegan person who lives in LA, who loves hanging out at the same place that I do, was like, "Hey, I see you're vegan. I see you're in
Mhm.
LA. You love going to that place. Me too. Do you want to meet up?" And so I was like,
Very
"Oh,
cool.
cool. I'm meeting a new vegan person tomorrow."
Very nice because of your content.
Yeah. So I'm excited.
See, already paying dividends. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
yes, yes. So that's cool.
Um, yeah.
Yeah.
Vegan Han asks, why do they sneak milk powder in all of the products? I think it's because milk powder and various kind of byproducts of the milk industry, they're cheap, man. They
They're
could
cheap.
accomplish it with something else, but it's cheap because
The
it's
government paid for
subsidized.
it.
Right. And so they got to do something with it. And so they are dumping it out in the desert. They're doing all of that, but they need to get it into people's bodies in order to keep them in business. It literally is that bad. We have so much
Yeah.
of it that we're dumping it.
Yeah.
We're that's what's kind of sickening to that. Not kind of that. One of the most sickening things is to me that a mother had to be raped, the baby had to be killed, the mother had to be tortured, and then after all of that, the product of all of that was just dumped.
Yeah,
It
that's why
was all
it's
just
so
dumped.
hard for me, even when I have, and it's a conversation we've had with Jess. Recently, someone had a package deliver at our house, but that was for someone else. And they were like, hey, I can't come pick it up. You can have whatever is in the package. It's food. And it was non vegan food. It was a bunch of meat and stuff. And we dumped it in the trash. And I felt awful because
What are you
I was
supposed to do
like,
with it though?
that was the thing. So there is a group called Buy Nothing, and I suggested to Jess, I was like, should we give it to Buy Nothing group so at least someone's gonna eat it and it's not just gonna go and this animal has suffered for no reason. And then Jess was like, well, if we do that, then we validate for all these people that it's okay to eat that
Yeah,
kind of food. So we ended up trashing it, but I felt
that's what
like
I would have done
awful.
too. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like that animal was already tortured for nothing way before you ever got involved. And
Yeah,
then
it's true.
anything that is left over from that animal who's likely already met his or her end is now should be buried. It should be buried like a corpse because if it's animal flesh, it actually is a corpse. If it's animal fluids or eggs, then it should be buried. It doesn't belong to us. And it's like that notion that it belongs to us that we have to now undertake some kind of effort to rehome the remains. Like you wouldn't do that with your grandmother. The
No.
remains of your grandmother, you would find a hole and put her in it or put her on the mantle. One, like you're gonna do
Sorry,
something.
you make me laugh because I'm thinking of putting the cow's remain on my mantle of
Yeah, there you
something.
go. At least to
Sorry.
be more respectful, but really it was always destined for the garbage, and
Mhm.
that's where that type of the whole industry belongs. Well, I'm glad to hear that you've got really cool things planned for this
And
week.
you still in your truck?
Still in the chicken truck. I am in Jacksonville. I'll be in Orlando, but I'm really looking forward. Yeah,
You have
I'm
to talk to Jess because he
Orlando.
has something for you, but not what you think.
Wow, that sounds ominous. Well, I
No, but
appreciate that.
talk to Jess because he wants yeah, he wants to ask you something.
Nerds Like Us says, if I was killed, I wouldn't want anyone to eat me. Good call,
Of
Nerds Like Us.
course.
Speak it, Sky.
I would
Worm.
not would not eat you, nerds like us. I
I wouldn't eat you
promise.
either because there's an extreme excess of milk that dump gallons of gallons and gallons. If they turn the milk into powder, maybe it expires later. Yep, they turn into powder, and also it does actually work quite well, sticking flavors onto chips and shit. So they use it. It also sweetens things just a tiny bit. It's a great preservative because yeast and other bacteria tend to not eat lactose. Um, so I mean, there you go. There's all the it works and it's cheap and they get it because there's so much of it that we're dumping it into the fucking oceans. But
These
the other
motherfuckers.
these motherfuckers, these carny bastards. So the last thing that I just wanted to mention is that yeah, I'm going to Orlando. I can't wait to talk to Jess about whatever you're talking about. And then I am the best news of the day is that I'll be headed to California in about 12 days. So I'm really excited about that. So yeah, I'm extremely excited that I'll be able to come to California for that. I don't know if we're going to do our Long Boy Christmas special on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, but look out for that. Invitations will be headed out your way soon. I appreciate you guys so much for being here. I know some of you were worried about not hearing this, that you complained about not hearing the theme song. I'll play it. But you must also know that Fanny and I are looking for new theme song for Sunday school, new opening. So this is, yeah. So we're going to start a whole new thing. Thank you for being here, Fanny. I always appreciate
Iowa.
it. Yeah. Let's all go to Iowa together. Have you ever been to Iowa?
Iowa. I've never been to Iowa.
You've never been to Iowa. Well, there's not much there.
Never been. Okay. All
I've been
right.
to Iowa a couple times. It's great. Bisou, bisou.
Thank you, everybody. Bisous, bisous.
Bye, guys.
Kisses.
It's so hard to not abuse animals. carnies can fuck themselves. Go fuck themselves. This is a shout for vegans.
This is for us.
The one only.
This is a shout
This is a channel for
For you, vegan.